we do, not that we forget, but we might not rate our kind of our musical tradition here as highly as we should. Like we went through Nashville and made a point of going down the strip and be like, right, let's call into a load of bars here and see the standard, and not that the bands weren't good, but I've seen as good players here.
On this week's episode of That Sound podcast, we have Cathal McKenna, the bassist who is currently playing with The Scratch, formerly of Vernon Jane and Senu. He is now playing with The Scratch at the helm on the bass guitar, absolutely rocking it on stage. He's going to share some stories of The Scratch recent tour across North America and Canada, and lots more. Stay tuned.
Strap yourself in
and enjoy.
Carl, what's the story?
Oh, good. Thanks for having me on, lads.
Pleasure to
have you on.
Have some chats, PG chats.
PG chat. We can go.
Explicit content.
12. Oh, now we're talking.
We can do what we want.
This is an over 18 show. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah.
It's just I'm definitely going to curse at some point. Yeah.
No,
once you try and not curse in your head, you're doomed.
You're good. You're doomed. You're just back from a tour of America.
Yeah, back from a long stint there with the Dropkick Murphys. Took us out support from, I think it was February sometime. Was it the end of February, I think? It was unreal. Yeah, only back like a week or two. Coast to coast, but basically like kind of all over the gaff. It was absolutely unreal. Still kind of there a bit in the head. Or like the first week back in particular was an absolute slug. Like the time zones and all that kind of stuff was kind of getting to me. But I'm clawing my way back to a few runs and whatever.
Especially going from West Coast to East Coast and up, down, left, right, like even that hour or 2 hour difference. Like
that was kind of getting as much just because it kept throwing off your time. It wasn't like you're noticing it from a sleep point of view, but you'd keep missing timings. Or you'd be like, oh, I thought it was 11 and it's 12. And then the next day you're like, it's 12 and it's 11 because you like went back yesterday. The night before or something. So, and you're like, I'm losing my mind here. But thank God for the internet. Your phone figures that out.
The band, I only recently got into it, to be honest, and man, I can't stop listening to it. I think it's brilliant. Really do. I was telling you off air, like I've got a lot of lads listening to it and other musicians, and they're like, how do I not know this band?
Convert the Legion, good stuff.
It's like
appreciate
it's such a distinctive sound. Like you have your trad kind of rock metal, like it's. And as for your shows, I can't wait to get to a live show because it looks like
have to get you down. It's going to be fun. The thick of it.
Yeah,
we did Drogheda not so long ago. I think at the end.
I did see that when I was doing my homework on you. I seen you played in the Crescent.
The Crescent, yeah. I was trying to think of the name of it. Yeah, the great wee spot. I'd never been in there before.
Yeah,
but we played there whatever the last Irish tour is. We'll be around these parts. We'll have you in.
Oh, definitely.
Front and centre.
Definitely. Bit of headbanging.
Do you like our last outing of headbanging? You didn't recover for about 2 weeks.
Man, I left like one of Charlie and the Chocolate Factories in Olympus. I'm glowing.
You can't just hop in for a day though. You need to keep at it. It's like the gym. You need to be in the rock gym for a few days.
I was acting the young fella in the Grand Social, man, and I was looking back at pictures, and oh my God, I looked like I was going to have a heart attack. But it was worth it.
Was that at gigs or were you working?
Yeah, we went to Kubla Khan.
Nice.
Yeah,
they played good Grand Social. I must have missed. I worked in there for a few years.
Right.
I was playing like production, kind of like to help them with the gigs and stuff upstairs.
It's a great venue. Like.
Unreal spot, yeah.
Some heat in it, though. My God,
man, we
some amazing
you
shows.
You were pass out.
Yeah, they'd be heaving around the place. You know, it's that perfect size, and Kieran, he runs the place as a legend. Like,
are you familiar with that band, Kubla Khan?
Yeah. Only recently I saw them through. Is it Knocked Loose? Doc has been putting me on to Knocked Loose. They're kind of in the same vein.
They're touring America at the minute. Actually, they're doing
Kubla Khan,
small enough. Like they've sold out the whole North American tour. Like it's small enough venues, but Jesus Christ, they are heavy.
Oh man, they put on some fucking show.
Yeah,
they have some. There's a lot. I was only watching this quite recently. Some live, like a one-shot kind of gig Is it Hey 5-6? Do you know them? Chaps?
Oh yeah.
Might be one of them, or some similar company, but it's them in Knock Loose, someone else as well. It's just some spot in America. And it looks like just a big community hall centre, but it's about 4,000.
Have you seen any of them videos?
No, I haven't watched
Like
any
it looks
of them.
like Kubla Khan's playing in like some parish hall.
The Holy Family Hall in.
Fucking, there could be like 20 lads absolutely kicking the shit out of each other.
Oh, them bits are mad.
And the lights are all bright, like it's just like.
We need to get you into that pit.
No, I'm too old, man.
The elbow still hasn't
I
recovered
keep my
since
energy
that.
for a scratch one.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that. I'm looking forward to that.
Now we're talking.
So let's go back to the start, Cathal. Growing up around Monaghan.
Yes, sir. Went to school up in North Monaghan to Closter Oriel. So I was talking to you with the chap I met in Vancouver. He's an old school friend like Connor. I was going up to secondary school there. That's kind of where music kind of kicked off for me. Met the lads there. And like, it's few and far between the lads that do be into music. I'm sure, as you maybe know yourselves, you kind of find the lads that are into it. So I stayed with them for a fair bit there. That was like us figuring out about music and having jams in his Conor McKenna's garage beside his gaff and breaking his parents' heart. Their bedroom was right beside the garage as well. So on a Saturday or Sunday, we'd be off school and we'd be rehearsing. So at a certain point, like 8 or something, like they'd want to watch a movie, and just next door would be us slapping away.
Step brothers, will you just shut the fuck up?
I'm sure there was a few of them directed at us. All right, there's a few heads poked in the door a few times. You're like, maybe we'll stop here.
What kind of stuff? What kind of stuff were you playing?
That stuff, big one for us was Chili's, Red Hot Chili Peppers. That'd be a big one for me, kind of obviously as a bass player.
Yeah, Flea.
Yeah, I just even watching videos of them and stuff, they're just really exciting and they kind of grab your attention, or they felt like they were doing their own thing a bit, and you could make the instrument your own in a way that a lot of bands
like as a bass player, like Flea is almost like a front man nearly, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a legendary figure, because and he's also balancing that with some amazing playing as well, and he's not being too virtuistic. Like, I love my Marcus Millers and Victor Wooten and stuff, but like I wouldn't say they're writing the best songs in the world. They're just amazing players. But he's in that kind of Goldilocks zone where he's an amazing player, but he's writing amazing lines. He's not getting lost
it's like
in
playing
it.
chords on the bass, wasn't it?
Yeah, there are loads of weird. I'm making slap lines sound this weird in between slap and finger style.
Did you go to the show in Slane?
No, I missed that one. It wasn't until they did. I was in college by the time I saw them. They did the three
arena gig. I went to see it.
Yeah, I would have been in first year in college, I'd say.
Slane was pretty good.
Oh yeah, that's an iconic. They're live.
That was their DVD.
DVD.
That Foo Fighters supported that gig, wasn't
And
it?
Queens of Stone Age.
Did Grohl play on both of those sets?
Grohl, I came in when Queens. Is that the year Evan played?
No, because that was the Foo Fighters headline in 15.
That was an
03.
amazing headline. It was Queens of Stone Age, Foo Fighters, and Chili's.
Chili's.
That was my first ever Slane. That was 2002, 3?
2003, I think.
That,
I've
never been to a Slane
I can
gig.
still see.
Never been there.
No,
never been to a big Slane gig.
the sound isn't great unless
Really,
you're down the hill.
Yeah, you want to get into that kind of.
You
bowl
need
or
to.
whatever.
You need a bit of like. We used to go up every year because I grew up in RD, and we used to go up every year, just go to the village, have a few beers or something.
Yeah.
And I remember one year, was it like Madonna was playing or something? We were like, we just go for the crack.
Yeah.
And someone said, "Oh look, there's a hole." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Fire it in. Come on.
And
the local routes, the local fox trails.
But I remember being up the top. I'm like, this is crap. I can't hear nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like, but then because Slane is on such a hill, and the sound, if there's any wind at all, obviously in and out,
Carries it.
just gone. Like if you're down low,
You get in the mixer if you're getting a gig like that, and
we were
it's
right
a pain in the
beside.
arse getting there, even in park. And
like
you've gone to the trouble to get in the.
When we got to Metallica.
Yeah, I said to me and Luke was at Metallica there, and I was like, because I had learned over the years, I'm like, right, Luke, unfortunately, it's time to make a move to the
go.
top.
Yeah.
And we got to
We
the top
watched
and
Nothing
just
Else
legged
Matters
it.
from the back, and then as soon as it
But we were
it
back
finished,
in Carrick,
yeah, but quarter to 12 or so. You were back in Shercock at home just after 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
If you get it right, yeah,
You learn.
otherwise you're
So you were playing Chili's and stuff. Do you remember the first song you learned together with that band?
if Darrow Doom
Oh,
by
The
Horse Lips, isn't
the
it?
Horse
The Horse
Lips,
Lips, yeah.
yeah, the Horse Lips, by Horse Lips, yeah. That it was for, I think it was for some competition, some like
Battle of the Bands sort of thing.
kind of different. I think maybe different Irish schools across Ulster or something met up, and there was like talent show kind of things. So you could do different things, and we did Dark Doom, which looking back, and it was a tough old call for a bass player.
I was gonna say, it's not the easiest song.
No, so I imagine
thought it was going to be like
I imagine
Thunderstruck
I
or something.
absolutely goofed it. I can only imagine what came out of the amp that day. I don't even know if I'd had an amp at that point. I'd say I was using whatever
DA box into
who
the
knows?
PA or
Who
something.
knows? But it was great. Yeah, it was we were stuck in. Like we were all fairly serious about it. To that level anyway. Like most weekends we were meeting up and practicing and playing gigs around a friend's 16th and that kind of thing.
What was the name of the band?
The first name, Jesus Christ, Jesus McGee and the Upstairs Tomato Tribute Band.
Wow.
And then that was morphed into the Pot Smoking Pirates, which eventually evolved into Pharaoh Light, I think, and then into something else. I don't know, there's a few iterations of that band.
Transition.
That was all just during school, really, and it wasn't until college then I kind of joined other bands. But that was definitely the birth of just really loving music and being into music, and like being the guitarist. We're in class together in secondary school, and he would be burning CDs, and he'd come in and he'd have like drawn, shout out Kieran Rooney, like unreal stuff. He'd come in with like his homemade like covers, and he'd like draw like a cover on it. And then on the inside, he'd have like the track listing and like sometimes little notes on the inside, certain tracks like, oh, you might like this or whatever.
Yeah.
I think a little DJ doing like bootleg kind of CDs. So it was just, it was a really kind of exciting time. I guess you're just finding loads of different types of music. Things like drum and bass, an early obsession with like a very specific mixtape of drum and bass, and then I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
And moved on. But just loads of weird, random stuff like that. And because like music was still, I'm giving away my age now, but like it was just at the end of that era where new music or specific music that you were trying to find was still really hard to find. Like I was going on most of the Chili's. I discovered that B-sides were a thing, or like the unreleased singles, or if you got a single, they'd have some unreleased B tracks or whatever on them. So I was going through like Amazon used sellers, finding little Chili's like singles, because they'd have these, or like a live recording or a radio session or something to be like the B-side. You'd be going on Amazon, you'd be waiting for it to show up after school. You'd have your little CD in the padded case and stuff. So it was really exciting. I think it definitely felt like something you'd have something of your own that you were like, it was me and Kieran knew about this, and like you'd come into school, I got the B-side. He'd be like, yeah, and, you'd be you give it to him, then the next day he'd come in, he'd be like chatting about the song or whatever, blowing up about whatever track it was. So yeah, that was the start.
That was the start of it. Yeah, the fun days, man. But that's what it was all about. Like, you're having a crack with your mates.
Yeah.
Learning off each other.
Showing each other different things. Yeah, big time.
The bass then, was always the bass you wanted to play?
No, well, we were chatting earlier about this, the guitar. Yeah, the guitar story, the classic. That chap Kieran was obviously far more advanced than I was at that stage. Still is. He probably would argue. He was way better than me on guitar. The two of us were on acoustics, and they were starting the band, and he could play like Snow Hey-O by the Chili's, which is like really intricate line. So I was like, I saw my cards were up, and I was like, right, I'll play bass. And it was around that time. I think your brain's probably a lot more malleable or like squishy at that point, and I was getting into bass in the Chili's at the same time, and was seeing then Flea And he's obviously like just such an iconic chap to be exposed to at that age. So you're just like, all right, this is unreal. That's way cooler than being a guitarist. You know what I mean?
This is my
this is my
now.
thing.
This is what I'm gonna get in on.
Yeah. So I'd be listening to like interviews of him talking about like the meters or like his old funk kind of influence. So I was like, I know I like funk because I like Flea, but I didn't know any funk. So you'd be like listening to interviews and then he'd say some name and you'd go on Amazon then and try and find some CD with that name in it and, you know, Island Hop or like skip step your way through different artists. So Sly and the Family Stone, that'd be another kind of earlier band that really were an influence, and that was through that. It was through him just like mentioning that, and Larry Graham, the bass player, would be an influence in his slap technique, and you know, so you're just jumping from one thing to another.
He's so fast as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh man, he's a lunatic, and he's still. You're talking about like lads in the later in their careers, musicians and stuff, and how they're still just smashing it out,
Still
and
slinging it, yeah.
Living the life. So like, you know, there was a video recently of Mick Jagger, wasn't there, doing some dance routine? Have you seen that?
No.
Him in his 80s or something. And that's how he's staying fit. His music playing. He's in like a dance studio, and he's flying around the fucking place.
The Guns N' Roses boys, well, some of them.
Even went to see Slash a couple of weeks ago,
like
and they were
yoga
saying
and all this crap.
The Duff McKagan,
they're all mad into yoga, but like you have to, like them boys have. Really,
they're doing better than me. I was talking to you about the back. Like, sure, I'm a goose.
You're crippled there.
I'm still. You might see. I'm
couple-
probably even unconsciously doing this as we're talking. Like that shoulder's goosed, lower back is goose. But I guess there's a Goldilocks zone where you're at a certain level of you know, comforts and niceties until you get to that stage. So. But a bit more yoga, a bit more. So shout out my mum for getting me one of them portable smoothie makers. Did you ever see there was like an Instagram fad of them?
Yeah.
It's just a wee small thing.
Yeah.
That I think that's the only reason I survived that tour.
NutriBullet.
Was running into the catering. So you just put like fruit and a bit of like oat milk, and bought a thing of protein powder and trail mix in Walmart, and was firing that in every morning. And that was the only thing key. So that's the first healthy habit we've got in. First of many.
Because it's got to be tough on the road in America, like eating shit the whole time. Like,
if you look at Mick Jagger and the boys, maybe it's more drink you need.
burn it off with a few shots of whiskey and a bit of dancing into the wee hours. No, it's tough. Like we'd like to be keeping in shape as much as we can, but with the travel kind of schedule, it's tricky. We had one great, myself and Doc had one kind of great experience. We were in Penn State, like the college in Pennsylvania. We were playing, one of the venues was their basketball venue.
Oh wow.
So we pulled up in the car park, and like you just get off the bus. That's like one of the perks. You just get off the bus some more, and I was like bedhead, and we just like came out the door, and you're in Penn State like sports arena. So like there was the big basketball place where we were playing, and then across from that there was the football stadium. I'd say it would have been like 50,000, 60,000
college
capacity.
team.
There was another, the ice hockey arena was, and that's their thing apparently. Penn State is just like all sports. So if you are any use to the sport, fire them on scholarship, get them up here and whatever. So we ended up watching the men's lacrosse team training. I made that NutriBullet, went out and sat in the stands. Myself and Doc went out, chatted to one of the staff. They were like, can we sit in? And she's like, yeah, no, don't film anything, or no phones, just don't have your phones out.
They were training.
And you can sit there. So I was there for about an hour, full on training, doing loads of drills.
It's a tough sport, man.
Tough sport. I knew nothing about it, so we were looking up, you know, and he was looking at the roster, the players, and like one of the lads was 2022, I think, Nike athlete to watch, or like young athlete of the year or something like these. They were unreal, like some of the top players. And then we went in, and Langle came out. I was like, you know, the basketball team are training in that arena, and we were like, what? So we went in to try and catch them. Couldn't watch that. Their security was way tighter. They were like, no way.
Team, like.
Oh yeah, you'll be killed off. Coach sees you'll be killed, because people will be trying to film maybe plays that they're coming
college
up with.
Stuff is nuts.
The money in it, outrageous. You know,
especially coming close to March Madness.
Yeah,
you know, it's like they're getting.
I never even thought of that as well. I'd say about a week or two after that.
Of their season, so it's like you're giving away tactics. So
I'd say they thought that's who we were.
Yeah.
You know, and as only as we were leaving, we were like, oh, we're playing next door. And their strength and conditioning coach was a legend and came up and was like, look, you can't be in here, but if you want to use my room for like a bit of weights or like,
oh nice,
you know, he had all their like resistance bands, about 12 squat racks around this. It looked like out of a sci-fi movie. Had like strip lights, like purple strip lights around the whole room.
Yeah.
Sent us in there and he was like, there's a wee window there if you just want to watch a bit. Like, don't be obvious about it, but like just do a few curls or really light weights in front of the window there. Just
Penn
for it.
State would be decent, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm not sure how they'd be doing in basketball, but another football team would be like competing.
But like you see the crowds at the football, like it's sold out. College, can you imagine, right, playing on a Saturday, college football, right, rocking up to school Monday morning with your bag on your back going, I am a fucking legend.
Yeah,
Get out of my way.
And like the boys playing 6-year football here thinks they're shit toads think could play county minor.
Do you ever see like some like, is it Enter Sandman or some of them they do
Michigan State and
Is it
bits and
Michigan
pieces.
State?
Yeah, some of them.
The walk.
60, 70,000 people just bouncing college
Yeah.
football.
I was like, so when the reason I found that lacrosse team was because I thought there was something to do with us happening. They have a PA on their training field, and while they're warming up, they've tunes blaring. It sounds like a festival. Like it's just full massive loudspeakers the whole way around, and all the
Money that's in it.
Imagine that you're some kid, you're like 16, 17, you're lethal at lacrosse from some weekend, you like this, Magheracloone somewhere in some state, and you're unreal, and you get a letter and you're like, wow, you've scholarship to come. And it's like Hogwarts. That's what I was saying to Lango at the end. It's like Hogwarts for sport, right? You just go off to this mystic land. Everyone there, like all your friends are going to be like on the lacrosse team or like the hockey. When we were in that gym, we were doing a bit of weights, and a young fella walks in and got chatting to him, and he was on the hockey team. He was rehabbing his ankle, and the main rehab is in the hockey facility. So all these different people. There was like a runner. We weren't talking to her, but she was like up on a table getting some like rehab done to her leg. I was like, imagine this, like you're just, everyone around you is all these lethal athletes. You're all, 17, 18 up to 21 or 2. Everyone's just about to turn pro if they can make it.
Well, that's
so
the
everyone's
challenge,
like pushing each other. It must be.
It's like iron sharpens iron to
Amazing,
be
like,
in
yeah,
that environment.
that
If there was
environment,
something
like-
similar for music where you had these, what should you say,
and
prodigies.
Yeah,
But
and,
it's so-
and
it can-
concentrating them all in this
Yeah.
one.
It can turn in an instant though. Like, I know one guy that was out there playing soccer and he got a very bad leg break.
Yeah. Yeah, look.
That's it, like game over. Like
Again, that's me
bye-bye.
playing. That's me playing bass. That was that decision
Yeah.
made. Broke the ankle and was like, well, if something like that happens, I'm done. And all your training or whatever, or if you lose the match, it's like, well, that's it, done. Whereas with music, you can just keep
bounce back.
channeling your energy into something, and you're always going to grow from it. You're always going to have stuff you can learn, or like like you're saying, Donald Lunny or like Andy Irvine are just a prime example of that.
They're still
just
keeping it late at
flying
whatever
through,
age.
flying through. And Sharon Shannon, we've done. Now she's younger than them now, but like she's been flying through gigs, and I have no doubt will continue to fly through gigs for many more years. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's great to see that you can have that energy for that long of a career and still be putting out good shit. Like,
Another great example of that is I was talking to Gavin about Brian Downey, who had played drums with Thin Lizzy, and he has his own band playing the Thin Lizzy stuff. Brian Downey's Alive and Dangerous, and I had went to see them last May, and that
In
man,
Belfast, wasn't it?
No, I went to the gig in Dublin in the Well of Stephen's Green. Was class venue.
Yeah.
And the energy that he brings, and I think Brian's mid-70s anyway. I'm not too sure what exact age, but mid-70s.
Yeah.
And I came away from it thinking, I'd do well to play that for the 2 hours.
Isn't that amazing? So,
He took a double bass solo during the middle of it. Yeah, a solo on his own. He had 2 kick drums going. His double bass set up, double bass solo for about 10 minutes and just blitzed the kit. Blew my
outrageous
mind.
stuff, isn't it? You love to see it like then. So I mean, some people just are built for that.
And
for
the
that as
coolest
well,
dude, like he's sitting there with his shirt on, top button open, collar, set of jeans, and just
blazing through the thing.
Imagine the stories he has. But even like Pat McManus, like he's playing with this band now called When Ireland Rocks with a couple of guys from RD that we had on, and like telling stories like Phil, and you're like he's just telling stories about like Phil in it, like he's just Phil. No, he's Phil.
Yeah.
And as we were saying before, like he is some guitarist.
Oh man,
Really,
Pat can play.
Pat
yeah.
McManus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, there's some. I mean, because we do, not that we forget, but we might not rate our kind of our musical tradition here as highly as we should. Like we went through Nashville and made a point of going down the strip and be like, right, let's call into a load of bars here and see the standard, and not that the bands weren't good, but I've seen as good players here, and I know as many good blues like Paul Sherry. Just know Paul Sherry, a blues guitarist. He would have taught me early on when I was up in North Monaghan with the lads in the band. He lived close to the lads in Ballinode.
Crow Black Chicken, you know them?
Crow Black, yeah.
Class.
More blues lads as well, like that. You know, we have that tradition for a long time, and country as well here be huge. So you kind of forget that stuff's in the blood here as much. You know, it's not a very old tradition of music. No. You know, you're talking back to the 60s or 70s.
Some killer players. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Michael Kulbaka. He actually plays with Brian's band.
Oh, I don't know him.
He'd be around Dublin. And he plays lead in that band, and he is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. They're out there.
So many players that don't get their flowers.
Yeah, well, that was one of the reasons why we said we'd do the podcast, because we feel like yourselves with the scratch, like we want to get that out there, because like you just said, there's so much talent in this country that more people need to know about and need to hear.
And like especially at the moment, there definitely feels like there's something happening in the Irish music kind of
even metal is
sphere. Everything is kicking off. You know, there's a lot of confidence, I think, in different styles, fusing different styles. Irishness kind of is cool again. There's a big revival, that kind of revival cycle that was maybe there. You know, like the Botti band getting back together, and like the Dubliners and all these kind of classic Irish band. It feels like it's back
even
in
the folk
vogue.
music.
Yeah,
they what do you call the guys? The two guys from they're originally from Donegal.
Ye Vagabonds.
Yeah,
two brothers. Yeah,
man, they're class.
Beautiful stuff. Just loads. Like there's tons of bands out there. Lancashire, like they've been at that. They've been doing it for a while. I'm only a recent convert to them, only because of that revival. That's the only reason I would have probably heard of them. Like the lads loved them, but there's definitely this openness now to all these kind of alternative takes on Irish music, but being proud of it being Irish, and I think that's opened the door for.
I think you've nailed it with saying like that the Irishness, like proud to be Irish again, is it's definitely you can feel it. You can feel it.
Yeah, in loads of stuff, and it's always there, I guess, in sport and stuff. We always have it, and I don't know. Sometimes music, there's a bit of that cycle, isn't there? Like say, there's a lull for a while. Yeah. And I guess it's all cooking, I guess, for a while, and you don't see
it. Stewing away there.
Yeah, do you know? And then suddenly there's a big something breaks the surface a bit, and it looks like it comes out of nowhere, but it's been happening for a while.
I think your current band at the minute is going to do something big too. I really like.
We hope so.
I hope so too.
Keep them.
It'd be great. I mean, that's the plan.
Let's talk about that.
So, how did you end up coming to join the Scratch?
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Again, it's like being right place, right time, I guess. Like I'd known the lads. I'd finished college at this point, knew them just from being in different bands, kind of, you know, brushing each other's orbits, not quite being mates, but, you know, being at different gigs with each other and stuff like that. And then eventually ended up moving in together and being in different bands. I was in like a wedding band with Lango. Doc was like videoing my other band that I was in at the time. It was just a house full of musicians. Perrystown still is a house full of musicians, I think, just a different cast of people in there now. But we were all just playing together, and it was around the time they started the band, The Scratch, was when I moved in. So I was just mates. Like one of the first tours I did with them was as merch. It was when Pete was still playing with them. The original bass player was still there. And then eventually the band was just getting busier and busier, and Pete just has other commitments, and had to make a call just to step back. And it was kind of an almost like, well, Cathal there and he plays bass kind of thing. I already knew the lads and we're playing together in some format, so slipped in like a little eel, fucking slimed my way in through the door.
And you just walked in.
No one shut the door.
And I was the loophole in the fence, like
it was like the Madonna gig. There was a hole in you right there.
Exactly. Yeah, I wormed my way in quickly there. It was during lockdown, I think I got the call. I can remember just being like, Lang was on the phone and was just like, do you want to join the band? And I was like, yeah, let's fucking do it. So yeah, it's just kind of kicked off from there. And it was around the time, like, we kind of a bit more consciously were like, right, let's make this a go and be serious about this.
Yeah, let's take it serious.
Commit, like, because at the time everyone's doing that dance where you're doing about 3 different jobs. You know, I was playing in weddings, I was playing in other original bands as well, like Fern and Jane and Senu, you know, that are my own kind of passion projects as well, like that you're trying to balance with work projects, like playing weddings or functions. And then I also had a job that I was trying to keep actual regular income into the account. So you're just doing all this kind of plate spinning. And it was around the time where we all were like, right, let's see what happens if we stop that, and we all just have something where we kind of focus all of the energies into the one thing, rather than 4 people kind of moving in slightly different directions. And yeah, it just all kicked off, just gigs wise, and it seemed to be a bit of a roller coaster from there. Like, it's just been lots of things happening. I'll have to be checking out. This is the longest I've gone without checking that Google Drive or Google Calendar in about 2 years. Feels unreal. But yeah, it's just been loads of stuff happened. So. And
then the album. Well, your first gig then was in Cheltenham in England, I think.
Yes, I was very impressed that you got that. I had to. When you said it, I had to think for a second. I was like, was it 2000 Trees? Yeah, yes. Great festival in Cheltenham, kind of more boutique festival. Yeah. More, it was 2000 Trees and Arctangent are 2 festivals run, I think, similar organisers, or they're kind of sister companies or whatever.
More chilled, like.
Yeah, well, not necessarily musically. There would be more chill, like size-wise. I think they're smaller festivals, but a lot more like tech metal or math rock and shoegaze, kind of a bit more niche, No, I don't want to say proggy, but that kind of covers a lot more.
Yeah.
So like math rock, super tech metal, weird stuff, or like kind of bougie, freaky stuff.
And what was it like to play with the boys then for the first time live?
Unbelievable. Hectic, chaotic. It's a nice chaotic start. We've been bullied into being professional by like the workload the last fall, but at the start it was still nice and loose, which was
fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's still fun. It definitely is still fun, but there is chaos there, because like they kind of, it was all happening very quickly. Only had a week or 2 of rehearsals. Remember, that was mad. I was still living here, and they had moved into a house just outside Naas, kind of off the N7 in Kildare. So I was driving up, we'll say Monday to Friday, maybe sometimes staying a night, most of the nights driving back home, and probably getting home and like putting on the tracks and learning all this stuff that I'd messed up. So it was like a really hectic week or 2, and then we just went straight into flying. And like, it was all so new. Like, I hadn't really flown into many gigs that much. So you're trying to pack everything into that case and make sure you have everything and the right power. Now, luckily, you have the UK power, so it wasn't the worst there.
Yeah.
It was all just hectic, and the lads were a bit like, Jesus, this is all happening fast as well, And
because that rolled then into a European tour with the Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah, there was a few. That was like that summer. We then had the 3 Arena gig with Dropkicks last January, which is where we met them first, just a one-off. And they were legends. They were just really sound to us and kind of hit it off. And Kenny, the whole band are legends. Like, they really have looked after us since then. Every time we tour, like anytime we were with them, their crew, the band, everyone just pitches in and looks after us. So we kind of just hit it off with them after that one gig, and they offered us that Euro stint on June, July, August. I can't remember, July or August, I think, last year. And yeah.
Was that how much of Europe did that cover?
A fair bit.
Yeah.
Over as far as something. We did stuff in the Czech Republic, I think. That was kind of as far east, and then the rest
was it like arenas of festivals?
Yeah, kind of a mix. Outdoor gigs.
Outdoor gigs.
I can't remember how big. Yeah, a couple of thousand people. That kind of number. And then they were going off to do their own festival slots. Just their own bookings. And we went off to do our own festival slots as well. We were kind of like shipping off every now and then coming back together.
Yeah, because you kind of bounced back to England for a lot of gigs and then went back to Europe.
So we had different bookings, they kind of had their routing, and we already were booked on this other kind of routing, and then they offered us the tour, and we were like, yeah, we'll do that.
And it was sound.
Yeah, and it just hit it off. So we've done 2 with them now, 2 kind of full tours. That was the biggest one. The one in the States was the biggest one, and yeah, we had them up. We had Tim, the guitar and accordion player, was up with us playing.
No way.
He played accordion for McAlpine's Fusiliers. We did a cover of McAlpine's.
Yeah.
So he was up nearly every night. We were like, listen, man, the first night he did it, we were like, you don't have to be roped in here. Like, but he got up every time. And Cam as well, the pipes player and the whistle player, he was up doing songs with us as well. He did Coonla. Kev, their bass player, got up. He learnt another round. He learnt all the lyrics to another round.
No way.
Yeah, and he used to come up sometimes. He'd never let us know. He always kept you guessing. Kev was the dark horse. Like, he'd be like, is he doing it today or not? Like, And sometimes he'd have the hood up and like shades on, and he'd come sprinting off and like grab the mic off Jordy and do it. So there's just loads of like good crack. We were like, these boys are looking
pure
after.
Boston, right?
Yeah, they're mostly, but some Nashville heads. I think most of the band would be Boston based.
Right.
Some of the crew, I think, production lads are Nashville. I think between Nashville and Boston is their kind of their squad. Like they're amazing. Like they're a great crack.
Like you were saying earlier, like it's a massive factor to any band, or I'm sure any tour is the everyone's together.
The team that you have around it. It's not just the guys you see on stage.
It's not just playing music. There's so much behind it. Like.
No, that crew, and they really open their eyes to that. Like they're amazing. Like the work that they put in. You know, I was saying to you, we have the good stint coming in at like 5 in the evening or something. You know, well, a bit earlier than that, but we just swan in, set up the small amount of gear you have, and fire off. But they're in full long shifts. 12, 14-hour days, you know, before the band gets in, setting up the stage, after we finish packing down. And they'd always have like Johnny and Evan, the whole crew. Everyone just always offered to help in the middle of them doing their own day, do you know? And we're like, to us, like we only met them this year, and they're putting their necks out for us. So like you could just see everyone's like that. And from talking to them a bit more, once you got to know them a bit better, you know, you'd be a bit standoffish at the start. You don't want to be in people's space and stuff. As we got to know them a bit more, and you know, we were asking them advice and stuff. That was one of the main ones they said. They were like, be almost ruthless about it, you know, with people in the circle that you're spending that much time with, in that close quarters, and you're relying on them in big moments or like fairly high pressured environments. You need to make sure those people are solid and are good people and
on their game.
Yeah, on their game. Nice people are going to be good crack. If things go wrong, that's the other big one. When things, it's not a question of if. When things go wrong, or when something fucks up, or when you're tired, or when whatever. How do you kind of what do you like to be around then?
In the back of the bus, can we just settle this now?
Yeah,
and now?
how do you bring that forward?
I'm a dickhead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that, because that stuff just festers. You know, if you don't kind of. If you don't hop on it now, so all that sort of stuff, they were very much kind of taking us under the wing, you know, and giving us advice. And you know, Rats, our tour manager and front of house, he had to play a full, you know, already trying to shepherd us around and do all of that. And he'd have been asking Pete's, their sound engineer, Evan, their production manager, a tour manager, about stuff, and they were always like, you know where our office is if there's ever a problem. If you don't know what to say to someone on a phone, or you know what's normal procedure,
so sound,
come in and ask us first. Or like
that,
you know, and sure, these lads are like top of their game. Like they're better than Reddit or wherever you'd be going for the answer.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, these lads have done every. Sure, we were able to ask. We were going back to Vancouver for one of our own shows at the end of their run, and we were able to ask him about the venue, and he was like, oh yeah, I played there a few, and he was like, oh yeah, the back street's a bit dodgy, just be careful, you know. He just had the venue, almost the venue spec, rather than you'd be waiting for like an email back from this promoter for weeks, whereas you could just talk to this lad and he'd be like, oh yeah, there's these stairs up, you make sure you get the lift code, and you know, he just had all the wee hacks up. Yeah, they were amazing. It was definitely a level up.
And then
for the lads. You
headed to America and Canada in February.
Yeah, America, Canada with the lads. That was the last one there with them. Did the UK and then into that. Yeah. And then 1 week on our own then after that. We finished their last show with them was the day before Paddy's Day in Boston, Fenway Park, like for Paddy's Day week, you know. And it's in the MGM, is like this new kind of...
The new venue.
Music part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we played one night with them. Their first night they did in the House of Blues across the road. Yeah. It's another iconic venue, and that was the first time we weren't playing with them. We just had a load of beers, we parked the van up outside, that was where we were for the night. So we were like tourists for the night, got to just come in the front, and it felt really cool. It was a bit of a full circle, because you're so used to being on the other end of it, and you're in the production side of it. You don't really see the stage fully. Sometimes we'd go out and catch their set a few nights for sure, but that was when we just came in from the start, saw none of the sound check, went in at like 6 in the evening, 7 in the evening, and it's just everything's there, and it felt great. We were like, come on, the lads. It felt great.
Did I see footages like running around the base, did I see that? Was that
on the stage somewhere? In actual
Fenway? No,
Wouldn't it be? Maybe it was one of the lads. Rush of blood to their head.
Maybe,
yeah,
yeah.
it could. I wouldn't rule it out, but it
Yeah.
wasn't. No, it wasn't me.
Red Sox jersey in the hat. And
bury the Yankee top.
Yeah.
underneath.
spitting tobacco at the bell.
I remember hearing that story actually about when the new Yankee Stadium was being built. There was guys from Boston working on it, and they put the Red Sox jersey in under the concrete, and they actually broke it all out.
To check, like,
They found it out, and they broke like 20
Fair
grams
play.
worth of concrete
Oh,
to
yeah,
get
they-
this jersey.
There was a
in.
similar
mad.
thing last week.
Superstition, man, nuts.
Talked about the Raiders build, wasn't it? The new Raider Stadium in Las Vegas, where like someone had put a Kansas City's Chiefs jersey under it or
It's
something.
obviously a thing, is it?
So superstitious.
They're mad for their sport over there as well. The
And
Dropkick lads are hockey mad. I've been
Bruins.
watching it since
The
I came
Bruins.
back. Yeah, the Bruins.
Did you see the fight with the Devils and the Rangers in the hockey?
Oh man, you gotta
When
see
was
it.
this, recently?
About 3
Uh,
weeks ago, yeah.
no,
the
big-
whole team
8
just
out of 10 of them were put off the rink.
dropped and beat the shit.
Oh, is this the one where it's literally at the very start?
yeah.
Because dropped.
They're
and everyone's just
talking like, yeah, all right, we're going to do it now. Okay, we're doing it now. Okay,
Was
bang.
it the Rangers and the Devils?
Devils, yeah. New York and New
New
Jersey.
York.
What was the one he
New
was
Jersey.
showing me? There's an old one of the Bruins where they climb into the crowd. You seen that one? It's from like the 80s or something.
The Flyers were.
Bruins came down to play New York, and there's some beef starts, and one of the Bruins lads gets sent to the penalty box.
Yeah.
And something happens. One of the crowd or some fan, I think, maybe throws a bottle in or something, and literally the whole Bruins team just like
Yeah,
turns
time
around
over.
and
Yeah.
climbs up
Yeah.
into the stands, and like
Yeah.
they're fucking stamping and all. Like they play that during shipping up to Boston.
No
like,
way.
and just all this footage of Bruins lads just milling boys comes on.
There was a
Great.
famous team, I think it was a Philadelphia Flyers team. What would you call it? Bullies or something. They were nuts as well. And then there was the famous
it's a hard sport.
America
like,
against Russia in one of the Winter
Olympics, so.
And they beat the shit out of each other.
they do, yeah, they're fairly
But
good.
it's a great game. I went to a couple of live games. Actually,
it's some sport to watch. Yeah,
when I
already,
was
I
out
mean,
there, I don't know if you noticed that the goalies wear this kind of flappy on
Yeah,
them.
yeah, to get them so they don't get killed by the thing.
I
like-
was at a game, and the fucking guy came in, and whatever way he fell,
Blade.
now the guy was all
He
right.
was good, but he got a cut.
Yeah, and then they had to wear that flap. Now, like, it's a dangerous game. Like, Jesus
It is,
Christ.
yeah. You have knives on your feet and
Yeah.
a stick, and then you can hit that thing about
And you can
90
fight.
miles an hour, and you can just batter lads. Yeah,
I don't know how they're fit to stand up and fight on skates.
Oh, they must have calves
just-
like fucking.
yeah, they're
don't know.
Core
different.
strength on
Belgian
another.
blues.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're sturdy lads.
But any other downtime? Like, that was a lot of downtime in Boston. And did you have any much more downtime?
Apart from that, not really. To be honest, it's fairly travel
Very hectic.
intensive. Yeah, luckily we had the bandwagon.
It's like in the Unbelievables. We might slow down, but we never stop.
Yeah,
Never stop. Might slow down.
That was certainly the vibe for a lot of it. But yeah, the wagon was great for that. You know, you have your own bunk, you can watch a bit of TV. Definitely a step up from the last tour we were on, which is always a bonus. That it feels like it was better kind of situation than the last one we were in. So it was great. No, I loved it. Like, it was surprisingly good. Nick at the end of it, I was like, right, I could actually do this. Need a month or two to kind of gather the self, but like, it can be done. It doesn't kill you.
What was it like in the Bowery Ballroom down in New York?
Lethal. That was lethal.
That was your own headline, right?
Yeah, and that was the very last one. That was the last show of the whole show. I think 39. I think we counted it up as 39 or 40 shows in whatever 10 weeks or something like
You
that.
boys
So
were working.
we were working, yeah, and that's what it felt like at the end. We were like, right, this I felt good, you know, and it was tough, but there was no blow-ups. We did a great job of it.
But it's a great
We
venue
got
as well. Like,
there.
there's a lot of history there as well.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, we had great crowd in there. Like, the place was full,
and the Narrowbacks open for you.
the Narrowbacks hopped the roof off the place. Fair play to them. Yeah, it was great. It was exactly what they needed, what the place needed.
Yeah.
And we were all fairly triumphant. We were a bit like, it was nearly mad. That last sound check before we played, you end up saying the same things every day over and over again. You're like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
But that last day, every time we were saying those phrases, we were like, God, that's the last time we're going to be saying that now for a while. You're kind of almost bummed. You're like, Jesus, it actually got there, and felt like Frodo and Sam and Mount Doom. You know, there was a bit of a like,
You got there at the
you
end.
fucking did it, boys. Like, it's over.
But it's a massive achievement to you, man.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it was great, you know, and everyone was just happy to be playing, and there was a real good energy off it, you know, rather than it feeling like. And hey, we were bollocked, like we were ready to have a few days off, but no one was like drained and spent from it. We were all just like, that was lethal. Like, let's
Everyone
do
was
this
on
again,
the
like.
same wavelength. Couldn't wait to get back at it, reset.
Yeah, exactly.
Go at it
Reset.
again.
And like, it's been nice since I've been home. It's a bit of a mad rhythm, but like, even like meeting yourself here, like going out to see people, you just have time off. Meeting the lads tomorrow, like there's lads that I haven't seen for months and months, so you're kind of adjusting to that, and it's nice to see that we can just sustain it.
I was going to say, this is a fair difference from New York City, where you can actually hear the birds singing out.
Unreal.
You can hear the rain here.
Yeah,
I'd
you
say.
can hear the
Into
rain
me
on the tin
veins.
roof.
No, come on, the rolling hills of Magheracloone, bring me back. And I mean, another
Upper
Magheracloone.
Upper
Yeah,
Magheracloone.
Jesus, no, I'd rather stay in New York now than come back to Lower Magheracloone. But I'd say there'll be about 2 weeks now, and I'll be climbing the walls, ready to go out, or like, you know, to get right. And the next album is really the big. I'd say the next big thing for us, really, that we're excited
Going
about.
back to your last album, then you recorded with James Vince McMorrow up in Jenkinstown.
Yeah,
Black Mountain
Black
Studios.
Mountain Studios. Yeah, James Vincent McMorrow and James Eager engineering it. It was unreal. Yeah, that was that first winter that I was with them. So I was kind of only in the band about a few months, really, and we were looking at starting those sessions. Kind of did them in week chunks, you know, in between different gigs or tours and stuff. We'd go up for a week. It's like residential, so you can just
Cool
camp
that
up
they
there.
have the accommodation.
Great, yeah.
Shout out to Peter and the boys up in Black Mountain.
Peter will look after you.
Yeah,
Sounds
Peter look after
unreal.
you.
And that desk, legendary desk up there as well, and a nice Rickenbacker that's now gone, that I was very close to buying, but I didn't pull the trigger.
Is it gone since?
Yeah, I think whoever it is, your man, he owns loads of that gear. I think he took it back, which is fair enough.
Oh,
I didn't,
okay.
Was that the first, not the first time, or was that the first step in like the recording process? Like that was up and from what you've done before?
Yeah, well, first time working with a producer.
Yeah.
For myself, I think for the lads as well. Maybe in some of the Red Enemy stuff they'd worked with a producer
Yeah, we
before.
were
but
listening to that earlier.
yeah,
it's
there was
tough,
some.
man.
Who was the American? There was some American label. I'm not nerdy. My nerd muscles aren't working. I can't remember his name. But yeah, it was a first for us working with a producer. I thought it was unreal. I thought it was really good.
The recording process in up there, was how did you find it? Like, was it?
I loved it. It was very intense. It was definitely, you know, a sink or swim sort of environment where everything's happening so quickly. The lads were the songs were still coming together in
That's what I
real
was saying,
time.
like, had you much ammo to go with, or did a lot
Yeah,
of the
there
magic
was ammo.
happen there?
There was ammo definitely there, and that's what I was working off. I was kind of learning phone recording. Oh, not phone. They had recordings of the set, kind of jams they had that they were basing the songs off. So I was listening to them, but they were changing a lot then in there, and like it was very much like there's a collage, even lyrically and stuff. There's just I really liked that now that I know that that's the process that they have. But at the time, I didn't know that was the process. So it was a bit just like, Jesus, there's like a million riffs and different parts, and is this part going to go with this part, or do you know? There's a lot of changing. So I kind of. That was a bit more of the struggle, but like, yeah, it definitely felt magic. You know, it definitely felt like stuff's happening here. You know, and James is really unlocking loads of like harmonies and a bit more polish on stuff. Or like, you know, his pop sensibilities are obviously amazing, and that's
layers are what makes the track. I think people don't realise that magic on the day.
Yeah, and he's great at that. And like harmonies for me, I've always loved nice like vocal harmonies and where that can take, especially in stuff that's a bit heavier, a bit gnarlier. It's almost nicer. Yeah, and like
that's
has some little delicate harmonies in the back or weird things. He's on that chorus, I think, doing this little like, it's not even it's not even a word. It's just like la la la, or some little weird note.
The noise,
it just makes it. You know,
it's a different. I found that song was kind of slightly different than a lot of the other songs. It was more not distortion, but there was something.
Yeah, definitely heavier. It's drop A as well.
Yeah.
That's the other. That's maybe where the band is moving a bit more now, is like super heavy stuff and drop tunings, and that's why I have the 5-string. I was saying I didn't bring him over today, but you know, that going that road, I guess maybe, who knows though, and that's what we like. I think I definitely like. There's a bit of chaos there, and until we're actually in that.
There's
studio,
no finite product or...
Yeah, and sometimes there is, like Jordan or Lango sometimes will come with a more fully formed song that we'll kind of learn and maybe tweak the arrangement a bit, but they've pretty much got it kind of figured out. And then other times, Mind Yourself definitely was more on the collaborative kind of things were changed. They'd still kind of be leading the charge a lot of the time, but so we'll see. I don't know what this next one will be, what sort of a balance it'll be. But
what's your favourite song on that album?
On that album, that's a try. Haven't, and it's funny, I haven't listened to that album for about 6 months, I'd say, because it burnt it out for a while. I still think the last track in the album, Pocket Full of Roses, is kind of the dark horse for me. But I just love it. It just felt like a very different musical place for the band. So I guess maybe I'm biased there. I was kind of like, that was the first batch of recordings I was involved with, and that one to me sounds quite different to what the Scratch had done before, but still kind of fits in, which I kind of like. And just the vocal, I think the lyrics.
Oh, it's a great.
The lyrics are great. Yeah,
great record. Like, obviously the Boys' influence is on the heavier side to the Chili's, like you said.
Yeah.
Obviously, like that cover that they done, Aerials.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's a big one for lots of people. We were playing it for a while. We were playing it in Europe for a while. Yeah, because loads of people will be coming up. That's where they kind of. I think that's where the lads met James. I think that's where that first.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the band at that point.
He heard it or something.
Yeah, or was he even curating that or something? Or maybe he heard the. No, I think he was involved with that. I think James was actually picking.
Yeah, it was with the orchestra, and he was
picking.
No,
I think he was picking a lot of the artists. He was like the curator, and he'd pick all these different artists to play in it, and he wanted something heavy, and I think he'd seen the lads somewhere, so he got them on that, and that kind of that did well, and then he got them on a gig in London, I think, in the Barbican Centre. There was some Irish exchange thing, and I think he played it, James Vincent McMorrow played it, and the Scratch and someone else. They went for pints afterwards. Actually, you were saying about, I can't remember who you were saying was on the podcast, that the metal influence that you were kind of surprised, or Johnny, one of the Johnnies, no? Yeah, that had a metal influence or something. Yeah, it was the same with him. The lad said they were chatting to him, having pints after that gig, and it turned out he was
big into
literate. Like Sepultura he started talking about some drum sound that Lango's doing, and relating to Sepultura.
That was
and
his buzz.
And had grown up on a lot of that. I think he was in a band before he did his own produced his own stuff and went solo. I think he was like drummer or guitarist maybe in like a band, a rock band or whatever. Might be dishing the dirt here.
The dirt on James.
We'll have to redact all that. We'll have to blank that all out.
Yeah.
But he was great, and just an amazing ear. He's like super sharp ear, and like knows with melodies and lyrics and how to layer up vocals and stuff, can really just tweak stuff. So,
and is he working with you on the new record?
I don't know yet. We're kind of not at that stage yet. We're kind of just jamming and writing ourselves. We just kind of go to an Airbnb somewhere, like rent it for a week or two, set up all the gear there so we can record demos and just kind of have at it. So we've done one block of that, maybe do another block of that, either write more or kind of polish up what we have, and then start looking at that, like who to work with, where to record it. So we don't really know. We're waiting for the Yanks to come with a big satchel of money, and
wheelbarrow
begging us to come over and record with Rick Rubin in Hermosa Beach or something.
Man. That would be the dream.
Tickle his beard.
Yeah, next album.
Gandalf the Grey.
You come in and sit and
what
say.
Can you tell us about any gigs you have coming up, or anything?
Yeah, in Ireland we're quite enough, I think, for the next while. Over the summer we're doing can I say that? I think I can. I'll need to double check this. I assume, but doing Beyond the Pale. We are. We've been announced for that. Doing Beyond the Pale and Electric Picnic.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know if that's been announced yet, to be honest. But we can. I'll consult the oracle there. Or you just have that big Scratch song playing for a second.
Cheeky bastard.
So those, 2 festival dates, and probably like a tour, some Irish tour maybe at the end of next year or something. I'm not really sure just yet. I feel like we're probably
Spirit Store or something. No, it's too small.
That would be nice.
Back to Drogheda, I'd say would be the Crescent Theatre. I think would be the one. That was good crack. With Cable, shout out Cable. They're, I think, a Drogheda band. Drogheda Dublin. They're in BIM, I think, as well with me. They were supporting us on the last Drogheda gig.
Wouldn't be familiar with them. We must check them out.
I'll fire them on to you after this.
For sure.
They're banging. Yeah, kind of shoegazy, slightly eerie, great vocals. So again, there's just so many bands. There's so many Irish bands blowing up at the minute.
Definitely, man. There's something brewing there. There really is.
There really is. Yeah.
I think, again, like someone was talking to me about that with a scene, like music scenes, and it's kind of hard to know when you're in something or not, but it almost feels like this is a scene here, like this era maybe from about 5 years ago to 5 years ahead of us. I think it'll be. I think
be
when we
interesting
look
to
back
see where
on
the
this
next
when we're in
5
our
goes.
70s, I think that'll be a fairly defined chunk of something. I don't know what this Celtic.
When people
revival
talk about the Seattle scene and like the grunge
or
and
something, yeah, like sure, everyone, yeah. There's just a real strong community. I think at the moment of bands, we're all like ships in the night. Even on the UK tour, like the same venues, you're seeing the same kind of bands sticker, like the kneecap sticker up in the Jacks.
And
or
they're
like
over there, yeah.
Mary Wallopers, there's SEMA and like Lancome. There's like we ended up going on the UK tour. Our regular Rats, who did sound for us in the States, wasn't available, and we got Thomas, who I've known. Just he used to work in a venue, but when I worked in Grand Social, he worked in Academy doing sound. He started working with a band, friends of ours, Thumper. They're from Bim.
Yeah, we've heard of them.
Me and Alan like lived together, be good like best friends. So he started working with them, and now he's working with Lancome. And then we asked him to cover Rat on our tour. You know, so all these same people are kind of reinforcing each other. And like we knew he got the heavy stuff because Lancome gets super heavy. Thumper super more on the Idols, kind of post-punk kind of stuff.
Seems to be a lot of kind of post-punk.
Yeah.
They're
There's a lot of
smashing it
that
at the
coming
moment.
around.
Yeah, definitely.
And even a lot of new bands coming with really good material, like strong, ready to jump into that festival scene.
Scratch.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't wait to see his boys. I swear to God, I've been down a rabbit hole the last 2 weeks looking at your footage and stuff. I am not bullshit.
we'll have you with the Ganzi off.
Oh yeah.
Have the
Big
Ganzi
red
over the
face
head.
on me.
Now we're cooking.
We'll have to
Now
get
we're
you in
cooking.
training
No,
for the
seriously.
headbanging.
Check out the Scratch because it is some very, 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 very talented boys on the stage, and
Really good.
some brilliant fucking songs.
Some slapping bass riffs
Now we're talking.
coming to the airwaves.
Yeah, definitely.
Make sure if you're at any of the gigs to ask them to turn the bass up.
Now we're
There's
talking.
something
Yeah.
that doesn't
Please-
get asked enough.
Please pressure our sound engineer. He'll be the lad with the big long hair, Rats with loads of tats. Please shout at him
loads of
loudly
tats.
and repeatedly for the entire gig.
Turn up the bass.
Turn up the bass.
Slap at the bass.
Wear the Magheracloone jersey.
Yeah.
I'd fucking love to. Yeah, I was thinking I'd love to get some of the kit back and the stage outfit. Love to.
That'd be something,
I
wouldn't
was
it?
doing in the shorts for a while. The O'Neill shorts are
Yeah.
great because they have the drawstring.
Yeah.
So you can get them good and tight for the in-ear
ear
pack.
pack.
Yeah.
That's the big one because you don't want that.
No.
You don't. You know
Jesus.
what I mean? that's not very rock and roll.
Swinging pendulum.
12. Sorry, this is 12s.
12s.
So not quite.
12 and a half.
We'll move on.
Will we go to question time now?
We can go to question time for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I'm about to be grilled here. This is my
Not at
leaving
all.
search.
No, not at all.
When did you smoke your first cigarette?
Well, I wouldn't know anything about that, ma'am. Or, I mean,
They weren't mine.
just
only
minding them.
minding
I
your
was minding them
clearance.
cigarettes for a
Some
friend.
prick from Lower Mart.
I must have put them in my bag when I was at football.
Yeah, poor woman.
So, Cathal, the first and last gig that you bought a ticket for and attended, not your own.
Jesus, yeah, that's going to be a tricky one. First gig. Jesus, I think it might have been. I didn't even pay for that. No, I think it would have been that Chili's gig in college. I think everything else probably would have been with mum or like with a friend's parent, you know, that kind of thing. Say it would have been Chili's. 2011. The last gig. Jesus, when did I go to a fucking gig? Like, oh, it was my friends, the two Keans, Cian Finley and Cian Hanley. Two mates. Cian Finley does lights for us. Shout out Cian Finley, a phenomenal lighting engineer, stage designer kind of dude. He's super busy in Dublin. We were in a band together. The guy from Thumper and the guitarist, the three of us have been in a band together. But he's mostly lighting now, but he's still an amazing musician. But he does like a live kind of improv show with the drummer, such as him on like loads of electronics.
Cian Hanley plays drums.
Cian Hanley and drums.
Very good drummer.
Yeah, he's an amazing drummer. He was another college kind of friend. I was in a band with him as well in college. Different band. So again, like everyone's just in these different circles that kind of move about. So yeah, they were playing Workwinds, I think, just before we left for that tour.
What was the first album you bought, if you can remember? We're really asking you to dig deep here.
For the one I bought, I don't know. I remember the first album I was got gifted, an album in 5th class, and that was Offspring. Is it after? No, Americana.
Yeah,
was it Americana? I think
Yeah,
was that album
think
with
so.
the classics.
Yeah.
That was the first, and I remember I had the parental explicit advisory
Sticker.
thing.
Yeah.
So I had to hide it in my school bag and not show mum and play it in the room on the QT. Shout out that old fucking tape player. That was a great. I had like a tape CD player, Harry Potter tapes on the bottom for going to bed, and CDs on top for having a good time for partying.
The Offspring and Harry Potter. Huh?
Yeah, that was the start.
Yeah. Jesus.
I think maybe as well, hilariously, Iron Maiden, even though I didn't, I ended up not being that into them, but I remember I can't even remember what the cover was, but I just loved like fantasy and like wizards and shit.
Number of the Beast, maybe.
Might have been.
Could have been Seventh
That was
Son
my-
of a
that was my
Seventh
first
Son.
one.
Skeleton in Robes.
Yeah.
I think, or something
not
like that.
Killers. Which one is that? I know the one he's
Their
on.
artwork was
It's
fucking...
a dark
it was
cover.
definitely the artwork that got me, I think,
Eddie.
first.
Eddie. That was
And then I was like, actually, I don't know if I really like this. Maybe move to the Chili's, but yeah, there was the first biggies.
Any other pastimes apart from music?
Yeah. To be honest, fair few. Not that like, just like doing. I don't know. Just like doing a lot of sporty thing, like running. Love the gym, running. I know you do jiu-jitsu. I'd love to.
Yeah, you should get in on that.
Oh, we hopped in a wee bit over the lockdown. A friend of ours over in Dundalk was going to MMA. And he's a great boxer when he was a kid and all. So he was coming over. We had a wee yoga mat out in the shed outside the gaff. So over lockdown, he was coming over and doing, like, he was showing us a bit of jiu-jitsu. We did kicking drills, did light sparring and all, like with light boxing, and then just did grappling and loved it.
Well, I'd have to give a shout out to Andrew Magheracloone, who coaches me at Team Torres. Is very receptive of guys dropping in or even training. So
I'd love that. That's the big problem. Obviously, I'd be in for like a few weeks and then I'd probably be off again.
oh man, everybody can sort of come and go as they please.
I love just getting whipped around because he was unreal, the chap showing us. So it's just like he'd show us a few bits. Is it Americana or like
an armbar
something that he's
Kimura.
trying to get to, and he's like, right, just try and stop me from getting there. And he'd be talking you through it as he's doing it. You know, like, well, put your knee in there, like move your hips here. So that'd be a big one. I'd love to get stuck into that. Running and gym, swimming, that kind of stuff.
Did you play football with Magheracloone?
Yeah. Played up until I was doing senior badly. I was a token senior player when I was finishing school, but never was always on the verge. Like I loved it, but I wasn't like
Fully committed.
Yeah, I never took that plunge. I'd say I broke a few hearts, you know, because I was kind of about to commit to it, and then I was like, you know what?
They have a nice set up there at the minute.
They do. I missed that. I was on the OG pitch, so I missed the.
That's gone now.
Oh, that's not there anymore.
Dead
anyway.
and married, literally.
We'll not go there.
Jesus wept. Yeah.
We'll not go there.
Sangoban got the checkbook out there.
Gaming as well. I have to say, I can't make myself out to be a jock as well. Like absolute nerd. Like love strategy, like real time strategy. At the moment, just playing like Fortnite or those sort of games, just more to hang out with the lads. You know, just have like a group of us, have a WhatsApp group again, and just if someone's free.
I think you'll definitely enjoy the jiu-jitsu buzz because there's plenty of all of those guys in that love 100%. Video games, love just tuning out and chilling out after
and that's the buzz. It does seem to be like boxing and kickboxing and stuff is great, but there's a bit more aggression to it, whereas jiu-jitsu, I was like, I could do this for 2 hours and it'd be the most amazing. You'd be gassed after it.
It's exhausting,
but you don't feel like you're killing anyone, or like someone who's a million times better than me could roll with you and not kill you and get something out of it. They'd learn something, or they try to work
a
something.
Good way, can't you?
Yeah, about 2 years now, just after a wee bit over.
It's
fun.
I tried it once in.
Did you try it?
And
then you stopped
Australia,
the boxing.
Yeah, I was doing. No, I was only doing it for fitness. I was doing kickboxing, and
more Muay Thai
just
stuff.
to keep the drink off. It was Muay Thai, yeah. And then this, he was a Kiwi guy. He was the trainer, and he said to me, I can see you have potential. I'm like, oh man, no I don't. I'm slow as fuck. He goes, no, I'm telling you have a good strike. Talked me into doing sparring. And I was like, no. So this guy was professional, right? And he goes, I said, no, fuck that. No, I'm not going. He goes, talk me into it. He goes, come with me. Yeah. We'll do 3 rounds. What's the worst that can happen? I said, 3. I said, he'll take it easy on me. He kicked the fuck.
Shit.
And then he
bro,
goes,
that's not the way though.
No,
like
no,
he
no.
absolutely kicked the shit
no,
out of
he didn't.
you.
He didn't. Like he
Oh,
put this
bro.
way. He didn't take it easy on me, right?
Yeah.
But after it, he was like, "If you survive that, you survive that." So I was like, "All
Yeah,
right."
fair point.
So I went back in then, and I was fucking. I was
You were at
enjoying
it.
it then.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
loving it.
Oh,
But
you
then
were
I
Yeah.
got a couple of whacks. Then I was like, fuck this.
Well, ended the modelling career.
Shit. Oh man.
But I love it. I love the training.
Yeah.
I
Shout
love-
out Barry Dernan if you're watching there somewhere, if you're out in Galway. He was. It's great. Like it was some
I love
buzz.
the training,
And
yeah,
even
like-
just the group of lads getting in. We got pretty regular. We were nearly going twice a week there for a bit. Do you know? And everyone would show up. You do your warm ups, and do you know we had a little
The best
squad.
training
Like,
I ever done was the boxing and the kickboxing. Like,
Yeah.
like just
Different
training wise, like
style of
fighting.
fitness or type of fitness.
yeah, big time.
The intensity, like
And the
keeping-
running, like that was a bit distance running. I haven't gone back since, but me and Geordie was doing a good bit of it as well. Jordan from scratch. We're doing like trail running, like up over mountains
Nice.
and kind of out like off road kind of stuff. Haven't gone back there now in a while.
do some of that Gale Force stuff.
Yeah, that sort of thing. I was looking. There's one down in Kerry. There's a Waterville Trail Festival. They have like 100k version. I'm not doing that one, but there's one I think
Stay hard.
48. Yeah, real David Goggins shit. I have a mate. Hamo did it, finished it.
Yeah.
But 100k, yeah. I think
Fair fucks.
What about
to
your
him.
man that done Africa?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Russ Cook or whatever, isn't it? Yeah, I was keeping up with him. Outrageous stuff, outrageous. So yeah, I'd be a fan of those sort of sports. You know where you have to be a bit tapped. You
Yeah, a
know,
wee
in
bit,
some
yeah,
way, a
yeah.
bit of madness. to you.
Even creativity. Do you know, I find a lot of creative people get into that because it
Yeah.
can be the learning element.
Yeah.
You want to figure it out.
Yeah, and even
Same with the gaming and stuff. Just even
Yeah.
the chatting and just like
Yeah.
relaxing, and maybe that's where the magic can happen. Just chatting,
Yeah,
like not
big
really
time.
paying attention.
even like feeding isn't it Erica Badu talks about it a lot, like feeding your subconscious. If you're creating, you're putting stuff out, and you need to fill that back up. And for some people that's like maybe watching movies, or maybe it's something creatively different, completely different, painting or something.
Yeah.
But I think for a certain sort of person, for me, a lot of it's like physical, you know, like sport, going for a run, that kind of stuff, or gaming, using your brain. We started playing a bit of chess. We haven't kept it up, so I'd love to keep it up, but we were starting to play chess in the days off, or just even on the planes when you're on a long journey, you can play, do you know, against
Oh,
people in
yeah,
the seat
and-
beside you or whatever.
Yeah.
And like I could just feel parts of my brain that I haven't used in about 20 years, just going like, ugh, which has to be good, you know. It's putting something back into your consciousness that you're then more full to kind of, when you have a jam or you write something, then you're a bit more full of ideas.
If you get
know?
back to New York, you have to go to Washington Square Park, and they have like
yeah. Oh, that's
hundreds
where
of
all the
ch-
lads do be sitting.
Yeah,
Sharked.
yeah.
You get
Yeah.
absolutely fleeced out of a tenner.
yeah, yeah,
2 minutes. Like.
yeah.
If you're into reading stuff about that, if you haven't read it already, there's a great book called The Art of Learning by Joshua Watkins. And he ended up being a chess player. And that film was modelled on him, was The Life of Bobby Fischer.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So then he went on to be Taekwondo.
Right, and he just
Champion.
unlocked kind of how
Yeah,
to
it's
learn
a
or how
really,
to-
really good book, but it talks through his sort of creative processes of just when you mentioned going to the park, he talked about going as like an 8-9-year-old to play against guys who were in their
Smoking a
70s
cigar.
that were in, like all day, and he was like, you know, my
I was
parents
smoking
would
them,
sit
like-
there and just watch.
That is
I used to
wild.
love going. I used to even go like sometimes if I was, because I lived in New Jersey at the time. You just go in and like, it sounds weird, but like just sit on your own, like you maybe just
People
have a-
watch.
Yeah.
It was fucking mad the shit that went on.
I love that for it. You know, you don't get to see the places that you travel
Yeah.
to a lot, but you do get to people watch a lot.
Yeah.
And you see all the characters, you see and it definitely gives you a good whack of confidence for doing your own thing.
Yeah.
You know, and like there's always going to be people that are maybe a bit like, you know, you're going to be a bit shy about something or not want to have your own weird thing or be a bit out there, but if you travel a bit around the world and you see
man.
what people are up to, no one gives up.
No one gives a
what
flying
you do.
fuck. No.
Do you? And no
Yeah.
one will think any different of you.
Absolutely,
you know, who
man.
matters?
Yeah.
Will think any different of
No.
you and get stuck in. So
Can you name an album, a book, and a film that everyone should read or listen to?
nice. Album, a book, or a
great
film?
question.
That's a great question. Book. There's a few. The Redwall series, Brian Jacks. That's a weird left of centre. That was more when I was a kid, almost like parents read it to me, and then I finished the series. You know, kind of was young, maybe 8 or 9, 10, kind of finishing it off. Brian Jack. So that's great. It's like Lord of the Rings, but they're all animals. Lord of the Rings and Watership Down kind of meet.
Okay.
And they're great. And there's all these kind of moral fables in them about being good. You know, like they have both ends where it's a great story. There's loads of animals, which rules. And then you get taught to be a good person. So yeah, I don't know what. Any of them. Film, fucking Gladiator. Favorite film, Gladiator, Russell Crowe. Have a big cry at the end of, like, you know, they let it all out. Best battle scenes of all time. Russell Crowe and swinging, absolutely in his prime, like
Jacked.
Decimus.
Yeah,
Meridius.
like the whole
Husband to a fallen wife.
yeah, father to a murdered son.
I will have my vengeance.
The one does every lad of a certain age just know that off by heart.
Yeah.
Like unreal. And what was the other one?
An album.
In Rainbows maybe, or a Radiohead, OK Computer.
Okay,
In
computers.
Rainbows maybe.
Yeah.
Something a bit just fucking weird. I think everyone should kind of.
I remember.
It's a bit challenging, like, I don't know, not challenging, but it's a bit weird when you listen to it the first time. You're kind of a bit. Like,
I remember getting that. I remember my stepdad gave it to me, the OK Computer, and I listened to it and listened to it.
yeah, it just blew the head off you.
And then the music video for Karma Police, you know, with the car chase, and
yeah.
it just was so fucking weird and different.
And I think that's what I'd say. I'm not saying it's like the best album ever. I'd love it as an album, but I think if that's the question, like, that someone should listen to.
It's a great album. It will open doors.
Yeah. I think for most people there'll be something in there that they might like. Research, I've got Lango has been kind of like, geez, I need to get on this boat. Like, what's the crack here? Same way with me, like in Pantera, Metallica growing up. I missed it, but I'm obviously like, there's obviously something there. Like, what's the crack?
Yeah.
And he was saying that about Radiohead, because there just is. It's like, why is everyone freaking out about this band? And there's something for everyone. If you want the guitar stuff, you go earlier in their career.
Creeping that, like,
You know, or you want all this mad electronics, you know, program music that's like almost Aphex Twin and like hugely influential on like
so different
electronic music and dance music and loads of shit, you know. So yeah, I think something in there.
Oh yeah, good answers. What's your go-to takeaway?
Oh, it has to be pizza. Has to be pizza. Yeah.
What's your
lads.
toppings?
Amen.
I mean, I could be basic and just like, sometimes if you're in a classic spot, pepperoni. Do you know? Don't fuck around. Just get a pepperoni.
Heartburn though. Heartburn.
Yeah, I see. I'm
For you,
shocking.
owl fella.
I'm getting there. I've done myself in a few times. I like meat feast. I'm in that neck of the wood. Maybe spicy.
What about in America,
chili
the
shake.
sausage?
Oh man, the pizzas in America. Holy fuck, they're good.
The deep based one. Oh man, yeah.
You wouldn't get through a full one though, but
you
you
would.
do your best. Yeah, you do your best.
You could do a bit of jiu-jitsu after it.
On pot.
Oh yeah, them deep based Induja sausage, bit of
Chicago.
spice.
You were in Chicago, right?
Man.
Yeah, got it deep. No, we didn't actually. Went to a lovely burger spot there. Some of the burger spots, I have to say, was actually probably the best meat we got out of everywhere.
And then they ask you,
Where
how do you want your burger?
Yeah, and they do it like, you get it medium rare, and they do it properly, and it'd be a proper, you know, you could see it was proper ground beef. As opposed
no
to some of
horse
the
meat.
stuff. Yeah, some of the shit they're getting, you're like, what is this? What, a pigeon bap, like. But yeah, I'd say pizza, spicy, has to have chorizo, parmesan,
Chili flakes.
Shout out! Where was I recently? Vice Pizza and Wings up in Dublin.
Oh.
Check them out. Oh man, just beside near Trinity.
Okay.
Just off Dawson Square, I think. They do, just set up by Buffalo Ogier, like, he knows has proper Buffalo wings.
Do you ever go
Amazing
to
food there.
Elephant and Castle in Temple?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
dude.
good gear.
Really good
That's
for
good gear.
wings.
Oh, man.
Bambino for pizzas.
Oh
Another good
yeah,
shout.
Bambino. I
There's a
haven't
new
been there.
spot in Belfast called Flout.
Oh yeah.
Flout, and it looks unbelievable.
Worth the spin up.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
The
have
place-
to take
Have
a
you
spin.
been to Macara in
Yeah.
Dundalk?
Pretty
It's-
good.
I was
the
only there
place
on
to be,
Friday.
man.
Kev Mesker brought me there, and I will be back. I saw that menu and I was like, I'm gonna have to be here come back about 6 times to get through.
Man, it's happening
Everything.
there now. That's the place to be now, it
The
seems.
pints, I got a few of their takeout pints as well for when I got home. They're delish.
Yeah.
I think they're a brewery as
Yeah,
well.
they're brewing their own stuff.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah,
craft
delicious
beer,
stuff.
yeah.
Half beer.
Yeah,
Blows the head of me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a couple of pints in your
They would,
Oh,
yeah,
you'd be
big
on your
fan
ear.
with them.
And your ear. Right, last question for me, Carl, is if you could get 5 artists in a room, dead or alive, to record your dream album,
That's a great one.
who would they be?
Who would they be? Fuck me. You need a drummer, like, don't you? It might be Chad, to be honest, Chad Smith. I know
Okay.
that's a very obvious
Great
one,
shout.
but, like,
Will Ferrell's twin brother.
and like, I reckon
Ferrell
you
on
could throw, you could throw kind of anything at him, I think, and he'd give it a good go.
He seems like a good character too.
There's loads of mad drummers that you get, but I reckon if I'm to make an album, I have to get on with them.
No, this
and
is-
Will Ferrell, I'd feel like, you know, if you're there for a few weeks, you get on with them. Tom, yeah, get the boys in. Get all the main boys. Get Tom York in. Get him handling all the synths and kind of mad shit. Fuck. There's gonna be me on bass, I suppose, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're on this rant, though, could I just get Flea and just get 5 of the best crack people ever?
Whatever you like.
Yeah, go
if
for
someone
it.
actually
now,
said
I'm
that,
off
it would be
bass.
like,
I'm forward. Flea's on bass, obviously.
Back up.
you're
I'm back on
fired.
bass. I'll do a couple of oohs and ahs.
Yeah.
Flea, Chad, Tom. That's like Adams for Peace. Didn't they do a thing? Tom York and Chad and Flea.
Not
Do
too
a
sure.
side project called Adams for Peace. Just mad thing. Before the Smile. God, who else now?
Guitar.
Tom would do a good job on the guitar. I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
more instruments, like more. Do you know, maybe on guitar, just because I'd love to see what he'd do? Rory Fryers from And So I Watch You From Afar. Don't know if you know them. They're
Wouldn't be
Nordy
familiar.
band. They're math rock, instrumental kind of math rock band.
Okay.
He's a big influence playing wise, performing wise. Just a mad energy to him that I feel would be good. Stick him in the mix. And it's all lads. Come on, there needs to fucking Etta James. We've no vocalists.
Yes.
Etta James, I think, just for one of them mad like soul or Dolly, maybe Dolly Parton.
That'd be something else, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Just because her voice, they've just got a mad like a distinctive voice.
What's the
to them.
woman's name? The girl's name from Heart.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking, Ribsy mentioned that.
Yeah. She's fucking
I
class.
was just thinking the other day.
Yeah,
I'd
it's
read
your
something
band.
about
I'm sorry. I'm just
Yeah.
thinking
Oh
out
no,
loud.
open to suggestion here. There's a few.
I like the Dolly show. It's different.
Dolly, get Dolly again. I think in terms of just, I'm more thinking about you'd have to be in Black Mountain with them for like a few weeks.
I'd say she'd make a good
Be good
pie or
crack,
something
like.
as well. A good
Good
stew.
crack, yeah.
She'd make a good
What
stew.
would we
home
all-
cooking.
What would we all make? That'd be the thing. I don't know if Flea might rustle something up, would he?
Man, Flea could rustle anything.
I'd
Flea's
say,
played
yeah.
some
He'd be a
gigs
good man
with
at a casserole.
Danny Carey out of Tool. Had like
Have
the
us a
baked
couple of
potato.
dishes. He'd have loaded fries. Flea with the loaded fries. Oh, now we're cooking.
What would York make?
I reckon he'd be like fucking like venison, something like super swag, little glass of red
With a
you
red
know what I
jus
mean?
with it.
Yeah, that very high class.
Yeah.
Chad, I think, would be In and Out Burger. Do you know what I mean? He'd come back with
Yeah.
just such
He
a
might
big
be on the
fucking-
dessert.
I'd-
Sundays.
Now we're talking.
Sundays and cigarettes.
Yeah, me and him be just having smokes out the back. Cans of bud. This album. I need to make this happen.
Yeah.
Up to Jenkinstown, which is
I'll give them a call. So I'll
A
get
few
in touch.
pints of stout mightn't taste them.
Down in Fitzpatrick's.
Yes,
yeah.
Fitzpatrick's out in
best chowder in the
Jenkinstown.
world.
Oh,
man.
the food there and the get-ups that they get for
Yeah.
you know
Halloween.
Halloween
Yeah,
or Christmas or whatever. They do some job in the place.
The nicest seafood chowder I've ever
good.
had in my life is in there. It's unreal.
Chowder. Oh yeah,
Seafood
rats just
chowder.
love a good chowder. We must come
Oh,
in.
you gotta hit that up for the chowder. And the
I'm
bread.
just hungry now, lads. That's what we've done now.
We'll have to head for town.
I'm calling for food in the way after this. I swear to God.
Luke, you wrap it up then.
Okay. I'm going to wrap this up.
You wrap her up, bye.
A couple of questions. One being called, what would your dream rig be? Now you have the good
Dream
old
rig.
P-bass beside you.
I mean,
But if money wasn't an option, or an object I should
Yeah.
say, amp.
was
guitar.
loving the Rickenback, and I mean, to be honest, I think it's always changing. To be honest, I think
Yeah.
there's no real end line at the moment. That was rocking for ages. Loved it, and then started playing the 5-string and putting new strings in it. I'm kind of like an artist price for Roto Sound at the moment. Shout out
Nice.
Roto Sound, sorting me out with strings, and they sent me a load. I got just like all of their different types, and was just trying them out to see which
Experimenting.
one. Yeah, and then the Swing 66 is just sounding amazing. And I've been using them since. But I imagine in like a year or two that might change. But yeah, some big lethal 5-string, maybe a Dingwall 5-string. I know Nolly Getgood from Periphery. Do you know Periphery? They're a tech gent metal band. He has his own line of super like sci-fi fanned fret, like really advanced 5-string, which I feel like could just cover everything. But also Rickenbacker.
Be nice.
Tried that one up.
In Black
Peter
Mountain.
has one up in Black Mountain, and that's actually on a few of the Mind Yourself tracks.
Nice.
We restrung. I was just trying it. He was like, "Here, work away in it." So I restrung it. It's on. I think it's on Banshee, the first track of the album, for those big like long ring out ones, because the sustain you hit it and it just stays there.
That's why it would have been
ages.
nice to pull the trigger on that one if possible. Maybe down the line.
Next time when the Rockstar budget is there, along with the Rockstar notions. That's when things are going to start
Always keep the
happening.
notions, Cathal.
And then, oh God, no fear of that, don't worry. Don't worry. The notions. And I mean, like, pedal board changes all the time.
Yeah.
Just had Oisin Trench, another shout out. Jeez, he's
Legend.
working with
A legend of the game.
From Enemies. He was back. He called over to the house the other day with just a rake of pedals. He works with pedal distributor, and he just had a rake of them. So he was like, just try out a load of them and see. So I have a couple of pedals now that I'll probably be working them into like the new gigs or like maybe the next recording session. And you're always just trying stuff out. The lads are the same. They're always, if anything, I'm probably a bit more stuck in my ways than the lads. The lads will be changing stuff every 2 gigs. You know, they'll come in with some new pedal, or Lang will be cutting a hole in something to put some new gaffer tape, you know, Velcro mic thing in somewhere. So that kind of always changes. But yeah, a nice Ricky or a nice Dingwall.
Nice.
And then loads of pedals. Just keep buying pedals.
What about the amp?
Oh man, I'm gonna be boring. SVT
Can't
Pro
beat it.
Classic,
Yeah,
big 8x10.
Ampeg.
The tube head. It's just haven't tried a massive amount of different heads and cabs. That'd be the one area kind of is harder to try out. Loads of stuff, but anytime I play that SVT through a big 8x10, it just sounds amazing. So that'd be
Happy out with that.
Yeah, classic.
And after that, we go to ask that sound.
Yes.
To you, what is that sound? Like your iconic go-to sound?
Yeah. Don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Hopefully I don't know if I have one. Maybe I do. Do I have one?
It's your most preferable sound as such when
I mean,
you think
actually,
of an album.
the thing's actually sitting right beside me. That'd be a big one. Up until the scratch, just the OC2. It's like a really iconic kind of one for like dub or electronic music. Like, you know, Jojo Mayer, he plays with like Yannick Wizdala, who'd be a big influence. Once I went to college and got into a bit more like jazz and prog music and virtuoso sort of playing, that was like the college kind of era, I guess. Loads of them are playing like electronic music, so everyone's on this. The Octave, not the Octaver, apparently they're the Japanese model is the one you want to get before they move.
So they say all the boss
manufacturing
stuff is like I've one of the chorus.
Yeah, and the way
pedals.
they had this was like super minimalist. It's just 3 channels, you know, you're 1 octave below, 2 octave below, and you're clean. And they kind of fancied it up in later editions. And apparently the way you know is it has just octave. They changed it to octaver. It's still an OC2, but it's octaver. And that's how you spot the
difference.
The dodgy ones. So yeah, I think I use this a ton for like hip hop gigs, or like if you're improvising or want to sound a bit more like a synth. So I'd say OC2, the L sub octaves, make the thing sound lower.
That is your sound.
Yeah,
that sound. Cathal McKenna's.
And I don't get to use it anymore. Shout out. Please let me start using this in the scratch, lads. For fuck's sake. I'm wasted.
Oh man, I really enjoyed that chat, man.
Listen, lads.
Legendary.
Yeah.
Thank
That
you
was
so
great.
much.
Unreal. No
Thanks a
worries.
million, man.
And
Yeah.
no dodgy questions. No fucking incriminating.
No.
No, we'll save that for another day.
Yeah.
The 18s.
And best of luck
podcast.
on everything in the future, man. And I really can't wait to catch you soon.
Thanks a lot. I will get you in. I
Definitely.
can't wait. We'll have to have an update. There'll be a video update maybe
Yeah.
if you make it into the
We're looking forward
into
to
the
it.
pit.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Let's
Nice one,
get it.
boys.
Yeah, sound.
That's all from us for this week. Gavin, what did you think of that?
It was great to have someone of that caliber in studio with us. It was absolutely brilliant. Cathal was a gentleman. You know, for a lad that just finished up a tour in America with the mega band, the Dropkick Murphys, playing Boston.
Yeah, like playing to the home crowd. I could only imagine what that gig was like.
Yeah.
And even playing their own gig in the Bowery.
Yeah.
But playing in that new venue, under Fenway Park.
Yeah, unbelievable. But just getting an insight into life on the road, you know, travelling. They travelled all of America, you know, playing gigs. Just getting into that head of someone that has done it all. And again, to have him here, a local
fair play
man.
to the driver.
Yeah.
Fair play to him for coming down.
Absolutely,
Like,
yeah.
that couldn't be easy on the body or the mind.
Yeah.
And to come down and sit here in HQ
Yeah.
and give us his time
Absolutely.
to a pair of bastards like us.
Gentlemen we are.
Gentlemen.
But yeah, no, great crack with him, and a bit of comedy there with the old Magheracloone slagging and all fun. Good crack with him, and I tell you, I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to seeing them live.
I'm really looking forward to seeing them live.
Yeah.
And for any of you out there who aren't familiar with them, please check out the Scratch. You'll really be helping Cathal and the boys, and they thoroughly deserve it, as they're working really, really hard.
Yeah, and he's telling us then that the new album should be dropping.
Now,
Well, they're working on it.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
'cause
going
the last
heavier.
one, Mind Yourself.
Yeah.
You're going heavier again.
Yeah. Really looking forward to. So yeah,
Who knows what the future holds for the Scratch? Like, they seem to be making really, really good strides this weather.
absolutely. Yeah, if you're enjoying the podcast, like we said, what really helps us out is if you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, or rate us on Spotify. Tell a friend. Just get the word out. And again, thanks for listening. We really appreciate each and every one of you that are listening and are enjoying it, and we are too.
We are really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And one more public service announcement for you all. We have now got That Sound merchandise available. So what you might see myself and Gavin wearing That Sound hoodies or That Sound t-shirts, you can now buy one and look as good yourself at home. They are available for purchase on the Instagram page. You can send us a DM.
Yeah.
We'll get them dispatched to you
Fairly lively.
fairly swift.
Until the next one.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.